How you doing? This is Chris with Chris's Comments, part 4 of Greg Abbott's disaster declaration. And as pretty much the way I've been stating, the key thing to remember is this one little quote. It's all about the money. Belief is the tool. Okay? I ended part 3 with the fact that Abbott has every intention of suing the government and charging Biden, charging the government with the repair costs and fees and all this good stuff that been affected by the migration, the illegal migration and stuff that he's supposed to be in charge of anyway. And the costs of law enforcement, something that he's supposed to administer anyway. He's going to sue the government because Biden. Okay? Because Biden. Okay? That he's got this written in his declaration. Maybe not to this exaggeration, but looking at it through a common sense, common ground point of view from this little guy, no differently than you out there. We live paycheck to paycheck. We hear a lot of BS, and we're very, very good at pointing it out. You know, he might as well have said it. I'm going to sue the government for all the costs that I'm technically still not even paying, and have the government pay it because of Biden. That's all he said. That's all he said. That's all he said. Paragraph 22 and 23 is the same thing. All it is just request federal funding for costs related to the disaster. And then it's repeated in paragraph 23. And I guess that's to make it official. It's official. I'm going to charge the Biden administration with a repair fee. You know, that's all that I see out of this. That's all that we are to take out of that, to make out of that. Now, starting with this next paragraph, 22 is repeated 2 times. Okay, 24, 23. Now, therefore, I, Greg Abbott, and he has that in all caps for some oddball reason, Governor of the state of Texas, that's all written ordinarily for some oddball reason. In accordance with the authority vested in me, I do hereby certify that the ongoing surge of individuals unlawfully crossing the border poses an ongoing and imminent threat of widespread and severe damage, injury, and loss of life and property, including property damage, property crime, human trafficking, violent crime, threats to public health, and the violation of sovereignty and territorial integrity. And for all the state agencies affected by this disaster, I do hereby declare a state of disaster for all listed counties by this disaster declaration, and for all state agencies affected by this disaster. There's a lot of repeating of that. And if some of this sounds familiar from previous videos, this is what it's led up to. Okay? This is what it's leading up to. It's now official that he's going to charge the administration, the Biden administration, for all of this stuff. Okay? This is just so out in the open, going after the money. Going after the money. And the belief is because Biden. Okay? That's all that this says. This big declaration, this big stand-up thing that he's doing. Paragraph 24. Pursuant to Section 418.017, I authorize the use of all available resources of the state, government, and political subdivisions that are reasonably necessary to cope with this disaster, including the use of all available resources of state and local law enforcement to assist and protect Texans from criminal activity and property damage. Now, what he just said is with the section 418.17, I'm going to legally cause problems with the humanitarian cause and law enforcement that catches a lot of traffickers to pull resources and assist and protect whom I call my people at the cost of the tax-paying dollars as I see fit. That's all that he said. That's all that he said in this, this paragraph, this part of the declaration. That's all that we saw. We saw him saying that he's going to use the law enforcement that's been catching a lot of traffickers to pull resources. He's going to be using them as, his own troops, his own personalized Gestapo or some shit, or something to that nature. Pardon my French. I'm not really sure. It's just that it's very disgusting to look at this. Paragraph 25. So instead of continuing with with any leading to any kind of mudslinging or anything, I'm not going to say that. What I am going to say is, let's continue on. That it's just wrong. So let's continue on with what seems to be looking good on paper, but you can clearly see is just a very, very bad thing. Paragraph 25, I hereby direct DPS to use available resources to enforce all applicable federal and state laws to prevent criminal activity along the border, including criminal trespass, smuggling, and human trafficking, and to assist Texas counties in their efforts to address their criminal activities. Okay, the only thing that I saw out of that, which again, this looks really professional, it looks like a real politician's job, real politician work. But the only thing is, when you take a step back and look at that paragraph, the DPS is the agency I intend to use in my corruption efforts. That's what we see. That's what us little guys see. And this is what I'm talking about. Like I said in the previous videos, you're going to see that looks good on paper, but what in actuality isn't going to be happening. Okay, you're going to see a lot of bad things take place. And now on paper, in print, my own Texas governor, Greg Abbott, literally written out his intent of using a specific agency to be the evildoers, to be the doers of whatever, the go-to guys to, again, pull resources and cause problems with the humanitarian cause. This is his solution. Okay, this is his declaration in handling the migration crisis, which I can't even say it's crisis. It's a situation. Just simply because it's a cause. Just simply because there are children being rescued here. There are children, minors, young adults that are being held in temporary holding facilities, and they're being taken care of. And instead of backing that up, it's being thrown out simply because of who's in charge, of what administration is in charge. We're not supposed to be doing that, regardless as to whoever's in charge. But there it is. His own printing said this. Now I got to move on because this is a large paragraph with different meanings, different things that he's intending to say. Get this. Paragraph 26. I hereby direct the Texas Commission on Jail Standards and the Texas Commission on Law Enforcement to work with Texas counties to provide appropriate guidance and to request from the Office of Governor any necessary suspensions of law in order to ensure that the counties have the flexibility needed to establish adequate alternative detention facilities or otherwise add or expand capacity to streamline procedures for licensing and transfers, and to address any staffing issues that may arise in expanding capacity. Okay, now that's quite a bit of reading there, and I've tried to pause it to show exactly what he's saying in the correct thing. So here we go. To dumb it down, I want all of Texas to work together to make more jails. I want it done as far as I see fit. And I aim to coerce licensing and transfers to cover up any addressed staffing issues that may arise in expanding capacity. Remember, the last time, well, not the last time, but one of the most serious staffing issues that was going on was the 4,500 cases caused by adult staff members from 2014 to 2018, where migrants were caged, families were separated, migrants were abused, assaulted, and sometimes sexually assaulted. And in that category, it ranged from adult people, men and women, down to children. And this is what he just did. This is what he's trying to do again. By claiming this. By using Commission on Jail Standards and Commission on Law Enforcement. Both of those policies to establish adequate alternative detention facilities or otherwise add or expand capacity, to streamline procedures for licensing and transfers, and to address any staffing issues that may arise. You see the concern. That entire paragraph looked good on paper. It looked like justice is in charge, so to say. But given the reputation of justice through these agencies, and the fact that there were some very serious issues that arose, this is really, Governor Greg Abbott permitting this is bad. It's a bad thing. It is not good at all. We can't trust it. We can't trust them. They've made proof of that by their own accord. Halfway there, so halfway on my time allotted, so I'm going to continue. Okay, brace yourselves, because here he goes with another rambling paragraph. Paragraph 27. I hereby direct the Texas Health and Human Service Commission, HHSC, to take all necessary steps to discontinue statute licensing of any child care facility in this state that shelters or detains unlawful immigrants or other individuals not lawfully present in the U.S. under contract with the federal government. Pursuant to Section 418.16 of the Texas Government Code, I hereby suspend Sections 42.46 and 42.48 of the Texas Human Resources Code and all other relevant laws to the extent necessary to allow HHSC to deny a license application for a new child care facility that shelters or detains unlawful immigrants and other individuals not lawfully present in the U.S. under contract of the federal government. Okay. To renew any existing such licenses for no longer than 90 days, for no longer than a 90-day period following the date of this order. So time is ticking right now as we speak. And to provide notice and initiate a 90-day period beginning on the date of this order to wind down any existing such licensing or licenses. Now, again, it's a lot that I just did, and I tried to proportionalize that paragraph to each of the comprehending sections. To dumb it down, here it is. I'm going to hurt this cause by discontinuing state licensings of any child care facilities that shelters or detains immigrants. Okay, that's what the first portion of that paragraph said. The next portion, I'm going also to allow HHSC to deny license applications for any new child care facilities that shelters or detains immigrants. Okay? Shelters or detains immigrants. Okay? Next section of that paragraph, HHSC will renew existing licenses for no longer than 90 days following the date of this order. As I said, the clock is ticking. So apply now or you're an illegal, which doesn't matter because it's denied anyway due to the Texas government code. That's what it says. To dumb it down, that's all that it says. The final section of that paragraph, HHSC will also provide notice and initiate the 90-day period. But you'll more than likely get it on day 91 to wind down any existing such licenses, as stated in that paragraph, in that portion of the paragraph. Now, I'm being a little sarcastic when I say you'll more than likely get it on day 91. However, it might as well as just say that it has really no actual intention to make sure that every single migrant that's not a U.S. citizen yet, that every single migrant will get that notice on the day that this is issued. Okay? It might as well, you're more than likely getting it on day 91. And that's an exaggeration, it's sarcasm, but they might as well as just say that. They might as well as just print that. Because that's all that we're looking at. That's all that you're looking at as soon as you get a hold of that policy and read it. That's all that it says. The final paragraph of this so-called solution to the immigration subject, to the immigration situation in Texas. Here it is. And I've only got 4 minutes. Crap. Okay, here we go. Pursuant of Section 14016, any regulatory statute prescribing the procedures for conduct of state businesses or any order or rule of the state agency that would in any way prevent, hinder, or delay necessary action in coping with this disaster shall be suspended upon written approval of the office of governor. However, to extend that the enforcement of any state statute or administrative rule regarding contracting or procurement would impede any state agency's emergency response that is necessary to protect life or property threatened by this declared disaster. I hereby authorize the suspension of such statutes and rules for the duration of this declared disaster. All right. Any regulatory, this is what he says, any regulatory statute that I see a delay to necessary action shall be suspended. So good luck stating your case of unfair and or mistreatment that causes concern to Texas. However, the extent of enforcement that helps my declaration would impede any agency is permitted. That's all that he just said. That's all that he just said. In other words, we're going to make, well, you know what it says. We're going to cause problems. And if you have some kind of opposition, any kind of opposition, good luck. Unless that opposition actually helps me out. then I will let it go. That's all that he said. And that's the rundown of the Texas disaster declaration. Now, it just got appointed, so there should be some opposition coming up very soon. For those of you with relatives that moved down here to Texas, please point this out. Please show your fellow relatives what's going on, and tell them why it looks good on paper, but in actuality is a very bad plan. For those of you that have moved down here and that are seeing this, welcome to Texas. There's a little bit of responsibility that comes with being the Lone Star State, even on a civilian level. It's just the way we roll. And it's an uphill battle sometimes, especially when you got the governor issuing declarations like this with full support, not just from his constituents, but with other people in agencies, and agencies that have a bad rep. But it's the challenge that you'll love to meet. You know, it's a good thing. It's a good thing to exercise your rights, to challenge and oppose these horrible plans that you can clearly see is about the money, belief being the tool. We're gonna take control of everything. We're gonna find and the sad part is that challenging, suing the administration because of Biden is the best that this governor can do. You know, he's been crying and complaining about support and finances and all this other garbage, but he hasn't done anything. And the only time that he says, I am standing up to all of this, is to go ahead and sue the government. I'm out of time. Y'all take care. That's the declaration. Review it. Do what you can. And spread the word. Spread the word. Because this is just one state. Y'all take care. This is Chris with Chris's Comments, signing out.